It's good morning, Andrea Barton. Welcome back for the third time to Yellow Shelf.
Thank you so much for having me. I truly, truly appreciate being here.
Oh, look, you and I were just reflecting on the journey you've been on. Previous episodes, you spoke about your previous two books, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But also my journey as a host here. So it's so great to have you back on supporting your latest book. Congratulations. Tell us all
Thank you
about The
very
Man in
much.
the Dam.
So this is The Man in the Dam right here. I'm very, very excited. It's very, it's hot off the press. And in fact, this is my first podcast about this book. So
Well done.
uh, I'm very excited about this as well. Um, so what do you need to know about The Man in the Dam? It's book three in the Jade Riley Mystery series. But I've just crafted the series so that you can jump in at any point. It's probably best because you follow Jade's journey if you start from the beginning, but if you dived in at book three, I think it would be absolutely fine. It wouldn't matter. Um, the book is set in Mansfield in the Victorian High Country. So, for those who don't know or aren't from Victoria, it's about 45 minutes from Mount Buller, one of our top ski resorts. It's close to Lake Eildon, which is really popular for boating in that part of the world. And it's a gateway to the high country. So it's a beautiful town.
Yeah.
It punches above its weight. Um, we've got Readers and Writers Festival there now that I'm on the committee for. So we run that every other year. So in this book, journalist Jade Riley is in Mansfield. Her parents have moved to Mansfield. They're away on holidays. So she and her boyfriend Brett are staying in the house. And her mum is part of the Dramatic Society in Mansfield, and they're doing a production of The Importance of Being Earnest. And so her mum asks Jade, will you please do an article? Jade's a journalist. Will you write an article about this to sort of try to attract attention? So she's arranged, the mother's kind of pre-arranged before she went away for a whole bunch of different people from that show. So actors, people behind the scenes, props, different roles, for a dinner party. So Jade has this dinner party the night before the book begins. The book begins the morning after. She wakes up, she's looking at all the detritus from the party and the beer bottles and whatever. She opens up the curtains and looks outside. Her parents' property have a big paddock in the front, and it leads the way down to a dam. And she sees something in the dam. So she gets the telescope, looks closer, and she sees it's a man. So there's this man lying face down in the dam. It's like, oh my gosh, he's not moving or anything. So she races down there and finds this guy. He's dead.
Ah,
So that's the opening to the
love.
story.
Yeah. And so for me, and I've read the other two books, Jade's back. Jade is, like you said, a journalist, but she's ambitious. So there's instantly that feel of she's going to need to get to the bottom of this.
Absolutely. And in this one, she has a personal dilemma as well. And it's not a spoiler because this has happened right on the first page.
Yeah.
So the night before, after everybody left, her boyfriend proposed.
Ah,
Um, so, which is fantastic, should be the night of her life.
yeah.
But there is a catch, and I won't say what it is. You find
Sure.
out straight away.
Yeah.
But it's not as straightforward as just, so it becomes a choice between career and love.
Yeah.
And so Jade, that is a dilemma that follows Jade through the whole book, and the two are trying to work that out as they're trying to figure out the mystery. So there's a personal journey for Jade to go through as
Yeah.
well.
Your books always have a lot of substance and intrigue. Can I mention the first two books in the Jade Riley series? And these interviews are in the Yellow Shelf Vault, so I'll put some links to them. The Godfather of Dance and The Killer Amongst Us. I'm sorry, Amongst Friends. Um, this is the third book you mentioned. Um, Tell us about your journey as an author and writing this series. Like, if anyone's watching for the first time or wants to go back and look in the vault of our previous interviews, tell us what we need to know about you and the Jade Riley series.
Okay, so I've been very lucky in my life to have lived in a number of different countries. My husband works is an engineer, and so we get posted to different locations. So I've lived in Nigeria, I've lived in the US, I've lived in the Middle East, and of course in Australia. And we've done a lot of other travel just as holiday. So I'm very, very fortunate. And my original intent for the series was to set a book in each of the countries that I've lived, and I have done that. So the first one, the other thing with the first three books, which I haven't really spoken about publicly much yet, but I'm hoping people will pick up on, is for the first three. The first one is The Godfather of Dance. So obviously that has a focus on dance. The second one, A Killer Among Friends, has a focus on music.
Yeah.
And this one has a focus on theatre. So what I've aimed to do is cover the musical triple threat. So it's got music, dance, and
Yeah.
acting. So that's kind of a fun thing for me because I love the
Yeah.
performing arts. I love musicals. And so being able to sort of explore each of those art forms in each of the books has been really fun for me. But in terms of the actual publishing journey, we were talking beforehand, and I did get the first two Jade books out, The Godfather of Dance and A Killer Among Friends, which you'll see in previous
Yeah.
episodes. And then the publisher I had for those two books went closed down, announced they were closing down, which for an author is just heartbreaking because it's very hard to get books out that have already been published. And it's kind of like, well, those books have just died. They're never going to see the light of day again. I was heartbroken. It was a tough, really tough
Yes.
time. So I was about to pitch to them. So I hadn't given them yet The Man in the Dam. So that didn't go out, but I was ready. Like I
Yeah.
literally found out. This was like, we found out on like a Wednesday, and on the Friday, I had planned to send them this book.
Wow.
So it meant I had a book that was ready to pitch to other agents and other publishers. So I pitched The Man in the Dam to other publishers, and I got two offers who both wanted the whole series. So I
Wow.
pitched it as either just a standalone, I can just, do it here, or I can start the series here, or you can have these other books as well. And I've got another two that actually are already written.
Yeah.
So I got a 5-book deal
Yeah.
with Next Chapter. So that was just, I can't even tell you. So
The highs and
thrilling.
lows, like the high, and thank you for
Oh,
sharing that. The highs, the lows, the disappointments, oh my God, like what am I going to do
yeah.
next? Yeah, thank you for sharing because that just sounds
Mm.
like a journey that, I mean, a lot of people will relate to as authors.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, you really have to be thick-skinned as an author, unless you're brave enough to go out there and self-publish it, which I completely admire.
Mm.
I always wanted kind of I guess, to be ratified as by somebody else. So I always kind of wanted to have a publisher.
Yeah.
But if you put yourself in that position, you have to be prepared for a lot of rejection and as you say, the highs and the lows and all of that stuff. It's just part of the journey.
Yeah.
And whether the book sells or not, and whether
Yeah.
readers like it, and whether they pick it up, and
Yeah.
how the reviews go, and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, it is really a journey.
Yes. Um, Look, I'm really grateful that you come back and share, even a piece of you and the journey, not just about the book. I think people
Mm.
really should go back and visit our old episodes, which I'll make it easy for them to do. I'll put it in the links today. Um, and the new book, tell us where we can get the book. How do we connect with you? And tell us a bit about your blog, because I don't think we've spoken about that before.
Oh, okay, sure. Well, in terms of connecting with me, all my socials are Andrea Barton author. X is Andrea Barton AU, but I'm not on there a lot at the moment. But yeah, certainly on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Not Twitter.
X, but your website, we
LinkedIn.
can go to your
Yeah,
website.
my
That's the one I
website has
like.
all of it. So
Yeah.
my website is Andrea Barton Author.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Yes.
Um, I also have a website for my editing business because I'm an editor as
Yes.
well. So I edit other people's fiction, generally fiction and sometimes memoir.
Yeah.
So that my business name is Brightside Story
Yes.
Studio. So I have a second website for that, which is for my editing business.
Yeah.
And through that, I've been doing a blog for it's almost 8 years. So I'm
Yeah.
about in February, I'll be putting out my, the winding narrative turns 8. So I started it actually before I started my editing business. It has its
Yeah.
own name. It's called The Winding Narrative for exactly the reason that we've just talked about. The fact
Yeah.
that the writer's journey is not a straightforward
Yeah.
path. It's very much a circuitous route. And certainly my publishing journey has been that way. So I began it 8 years ago to talk about my publishing journey. It took me way, way, way longer than I had hoped to be able to say, woohoo,
Yeah.
I've got there.
Yeah.
So that's, you can get that either through my Brightside Story Studio website, which is just that brightsidestoriestudio.com, or The Winding Narrative, which was the original name for that blog. And on that blog, I do a couple of things. I do talk about my writing journey.
Yes.
That was kind of how I began, and then I got sick of talking about myself. So I started doing interviews with others. So
Yeah.
other creatives. Most of my other interviews are with other authors who've got a new book out, and we want to
Yeah.
talk about that. And then mostly people I have some sort of connection to. But
Yes.
I've also done other interesting people. So the person who was the inspiration for a lot of A Killer Among Friends for the music theme, who is a rock drummer. I did an interview with Danny Finley, who was the inspiration for that. So,
Yeah.
and with The Man in the Jam, there's a number of people who really helped me with that. So I haven't done those interviews yet, but I'd actually really like to do interviews with some of those people for some behind the scenes talk about. One thing I will mention with The Man in the Jam is, as well as the mystery, or because of the mystery,
Yeah.
it leads Jade into a treasure hunt. So this book is just the mystery of who killed the man in the dam. It's also, there's a, I won't give too many
Yeah.
spoilers, but there is something that they need to search for that should lead to
Okay.
who the killer is. So it's a treasure hunt, which is so much
Yes.
fun. So of all of my books, like they all have some fairly serious undercurrents, but I
Yeah.
think of this one is in some ways the most fun because of that
Yeah.
element of, being out there hunting for things. And it's, yeah, I found it really good fun to write. So, but I had to, I don't know if anyone knows much about Lake Eelton, but it originally wasn't a lake. Well, it was a smaller lake, but a dam was built in the 1950s, and a
Yes.
huge area was flooded. So it's a huge catchment area.
Yeah.
It's actually got a greater area of water than Sydney Harbour. So
Yeah.
fun
Wow.
fact.
Yeah.
But what it means is, because they dammed it and flooded it, underneath the water, there are roads, there's the remains of
Wow.
houses, there's bridges. So fascinating, right? I
Isn't
mean, can
it?
you imagine? It's
Intriguing.
eerie, like to imagine
Yeah.
these houses under the water. And so that, ever since we've moved to
And
or been in Mansfield, I've just been intrigued by that.
yeah.
So there are
Yeah.
scenes where we have to go down and find out what's under there. So, um, yeah, that's some of the really fun scenes in
Yeah.
it have to do with this treasure hunt and finding things. And yeah, it's yeah. So that's a little bit more about the
Yeah.
place and why place was really
Yes.
really important to this book.
Yeah. Well, you've painted an amazing visual picture for everyone to get curious. The Man in the Dam, it's out now. We need to kind of get curious, connect with you. There's more books to come, I heard. So I know I'm going to beg you to come back to keep this juggernaut of our connection going in the future. Andrea,
Absolutely, I'd love to be back.
congratulations. Yeah, and
Thank
I,
you
I
so
did
much.
pick up you're involved in a writers' festival too. So I'll have to put a link into the show about that as well.
Yes, that would be awesome. Yeah, it's the Mansfield Readers and Writers Festival. There's been two of them now. I was involved in the last one, which was last October. We do it every other year because it's a small committee and it's a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
work. So we do it every year. So the
Yeah.
next one will be in October 2027. So yeah, we'll be working towards that.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to put some links in. Andrea, thanks again. Enjoy this journey, the highs and the lows, but I'm so grateful you shared today. All the best.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.